Hey, everybody, I'm Jane Wells, and this is CEOs You Should Know, and you are?
Peter Kim.
And what do you do, Peter?
I am the founder of Hudson Jeans. Currently, I'm the founder. Vice chairman is my official title. I also recently started a new company called Golden Circle Group.
So let's look back
Yep.
to how you said you had issues as a kid. I don't know if you want to expand on that, but how did that shape you as an entrepreneur?
So I I had a lot of trouble with school, and I ended up not doing well in school. I ended up getting into a lot of trouble as a youth. I believe the source of that was, my family was little. I come from an immigrant family from. If I go way back, both my parents are from North Korea in 40 and 42, so their childhood was through war, the beginnings of war and chaos on the Korean Peninsula. They became refugees into the South, and then they immigrated to Los Angeles in the 60s. So they I couldn't even imagine, what kind of life that they lived. My father's a super tough guy. He's kind of that old school, walk to school barefoot in the snow, 10 miles type of guy. And he's also an incredibly intelligent, super smart person. So he didn't quite understand me, I guess, because I more recently found out I haven't been tested, but I fit every single symptom of, for sure, ADHD. I have massive OCD issues, and I'm pretty sure I have levels of dyslexia on top of that, which makes a lot more sense to me now because when I was a youth, I just couldn't get the material. Like I had trouble reading, spelling. I still have the same troubles now as a 48-year-old man, but I couldn't. Reading is super slow. Comprehension was horrible. Spelling's ridiculous. Whenever I was asked to read out loud, it would be a disaster. Like today, I read out loud with my kids. Like we'll be reading something. I'll be reading to them, and my kids are 18 at this point. But I'll be reading stuff, and I'll start making up words, like putting words that don't exist. And in the early times, my kids would literally, I'd be reading something, and they'd look at each other like tap each other, going, "What is Daddy reading right now? Like, are we looking at the same
Oh,
thing?"
jeez.
So I got written off as, "You're dumb, you're stupid, you're not gonna be anything in life. So you can go over there. We'll focus in on the smart ones." So I think those things really shaped me to be like, well, I just want to be me then. When I realized I have nothing to lose, it's like, okay, do whatever I want.
So what'd you do? Because I read, you were working 120 hours a week at the age of 23. So I mean, how did you get to the point that you started your own company?
So I started in a family business when I came out of college.
So you did go to college.
I did. I did go to college. Surprisingly, I did go to college. I always share this story, and everybody around me, they're like, "Ooh, I'm not sure you should share this story." But I to put it in perspective, I got a 420 on my verbal SAT.
I think you could just like not say anything and get like a 420, right?
You get 200 points for putting your name down. Right? I think you get 400 points
Plus,
out
I
of
love
60.
the number 420. That's an interesting
Right,
number too.
right. And I honestly, I think I would have done better if I just picked C all the way
Yeah.
down. So I went to SMU in Dallas, Texas for a year and a half. Yeah, so that was a whole other thing going on where a Korean American kid from Los Angeles going to Dallas, Texas in 1988 was an eye-opening experience. I think I got in purely from a quota affirmative action, maybe piece of like, oh my goodness, look, there's an Asian person applying, let's take him. Well, he's not doing his
Did you
grades
see
don't
you
look
got a
that
420?
great. Well, take him in anyway, he's Asian. I mean, there was literally, I think there was 3 of us in the whole
Oh
school
my God.
at that time. But I ended up transferring back to USC after a year and a half. Graduated from USC with a business major, and I went straight into the family business. And it was a interesting thing because my parents again came from North Korea to the South, immigrated to Los Angeles with nothing. They scrapped, did all whatever they could to save money. They started this women's Missy moderate career polyester blouse business in the early 90s with everything changing, workwear changing with dress down Fridays, dress down every days, casual, the whole casual thing. At that point,
And real estate imploding.
and real estate imploding, what happened was their business was the first thing to go. I'm 23 years old. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I have been commissioned to fix it. And at this point, I thought, oh my God, like this is not fair. it was one of those defining moments, I guess, in my life because I was miserable. We were fighting all the time. There was no light at the end of the tunnel. It was like the washing machine that never turned off. It was going like every day. I would go home thinking, okay, at least we can say today it couldn't get any worse than today. And literally, you wake up, go to the office next day, and like, holy crap! It you just how do you can't even make these kind of things up. I was driving down the 10 freeway one of these days after work, and I'm coming out just one of those crazy days. And I'm thinking, this sucks. I'm going through the same routine, poor me, pulling out the violins, and all of a sudden, it was kind of like a weird divine intervention type of thing, whatever you want to call God or whatever else you want to call it. It was like, well, I hear this voice saying, what's the problem? And I'm like, the problem is this whole thing is bull. This is crap. Like, I don't deserve this. I don't. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? Have I not? Why? This is horrible. It's unfair, and so forth and so forth. And it was like, well, let's take a deep breath. Let's put some perspective on this. And if you look at this, yeah, the situation sucks. It's not ideal, but at the same time, let's compare that to what your parents went through. And if you look at their circumstances at your age and what they started with, you can kind of say that theirs wasn't ideal either. And look at what they've done. And if you take even a further step back, you look at our country in a very short period of time, we're built on nothing. We're built on the rejects and, had nothings. And in a very short period of time, we have become the most powerful country in the world. And, when I started looking at that picture, I was like, oh, I'm kind of not feeling so proud of myself right now. Maybe this isn't so bad. At least I have something to work with. Then that shifted into me just thinking, well, you know what? If I'm going to do this, let's do this. And let's make sure at the very least I put up the greatest fight anyone's ever seen. So at the end of this day, regardless of if I'm successful or not, whether I win or not, at least they'll know that I was here because I'm going to rip off their ears and bite their nose off. And they will forever remember that at least I gave it everything I possibly could to make this work. The amazing thing that happened to me was the next day I get into the office. It's obviously exactly the same company. Nothing's changed. Everything's exactly the same. But in my mind, everything changed. Turned from this sucks, poor me, blah, 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 to, and it was like a challenge. It was exciting. It was a game. It was, how can I fix this? I can fix this. And I started looking at the business and life in like a whole different angle. Back then, we had a controller who, the paperwork was unbelievable. Like he had a mound of paper on his desk, and I was just like, what is that? Because the OCD's kicking in on me. I'm like, what in the world is that? Why isn't that in the trash? It looks like junk. And I was like, oh, those are our bills. I went, our bills? Whoa, what do you mean? What? Why are they there? And he's like, well, what am I supposed to do with it? I go, file them away, like log them, call people. What, we got to pay them? He's like, well, we don't have any money. I thought, well, at least call them. One of the stories I'll never forget and experience was one of our biggest monies that we owed was to our landlord in New York. We had this big showroom in New York on 39th and Broadway, the fashion district. And somehow it got back. And it was like over $300,000. Again, this is 1995 at this point. And I went in, I sat down with the owner of the building, Leon Charney, who's, he's like a real estate tycoon out there, right? And I had a plan. My plan was I'm going to walk in there, I'm going to play hardball, and I'm going to go in there tough and renegotiate that debt to nothing and figure it out. And, I think it was Mike Tyson who said, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. So I walk in there in my suit. I got this overcoat on because it was cold. I walk in. His assistant's there, says, can you wait? I'll call Mr. Charney. And now I'm looking around the room going, oh my God, I think I'm so in over my head. I think this is not a good idea. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't belong in here. I started having all these self-doubt issues. Like, oh, I got to get out of here. I can't do this. So I walk in and he's there. And he was like, how can I help you? First, he goes, you want to have a seat? I go, I'm good. I'll stand here. I'm good.
That's never a good sign.
Yeah. And it's like, he goes, how can I help you? I go, well, I owe you a lot of money. I'm sure you know. And I think you need to release me from, this debt. summarizing, and he was like, "Well, why would I do that?" He goes, and I was like, "Because if you don't, then I'm gonna have to go bankrupt, and everybody's gonna get screwed in this." And he looked at me and said, it was like a Jedi master just looking at me, waving his hand, saying, "You don't want to do that. Like, why would you even think like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I don't want to do that." Yeah, what am I thinking? He's like, "I will take this seat. Can I sit down? Do you mind if I sit down?" And he looked at me and said, "Why are you coming at me like this? Like, why don't we just talk here? Why don't we try to figure out, is there something that we can do as respected business people, men, women, people? Why are you coming in like guns a-blazing? You don't even know me. I don't know you." In like a 15-20 minute session, we literally penciled out a deal, a 5-year deal where I pay him off over time. And it was one of those moments where I thought, wow. I think one of the things that we're taught that is horrible, in fact, is somehow we have this notion that life and business and everything else is like a zero-sum game. Like, if you have a dollar, that means one less dollar for me. And I don't think that's true. There's enough to go around for everybody. How do you lead people? How do you get them to work for you? I'm almost as average as you can possibly be. I'm like, just like, I don't have like this talent, except the only thing that I think I have is I always look back and say, well, I will work harder than anybody else. I will put in more time than anybody else, and I will care, hopefully, as much as I have. And I believe, if you care for somebody and take care of them, I fundamentally believe that they will do the same back for you.
Peter, thank you so much. I
Thank
so
you.
appreciate it. It was
Thank you.
great. That was awesome.